As you know, Perry Mason has exerted every effort to locate Suzanne Barkley, not only because her life is in danger, but also because the girl can give Mason vital information. And it's more than a search. It's a grim race with death. Because Gus Jansen is also trying to find Suzanne, and should Gus find her first, Suzanne will never talk again. The trail has led from the city to the town of Smithville, and from the Smithville bus terminal to the office of Dr. Kenneth Rowe, where Perry Mason just made a shocking discovery.
You open the windows while I turn off these gas jets. Della, open the windows. What about the nurse, Doctor?
Got to get her out of here. I'll help you.
Well, wait now. I can carry it. All right. Della, get out of this room.
Bring her to the examination room, Mr. Mason.
Very well. Close the door, Della. This room is full of gas.
I didn't hear, Mr. Mason. Put her on the table there.
Harry.
Get a blanket, Miss Street, in the cupboard there.
How is she, Doctor?
She breathed a lot of that illuminating gas. Her pulse is strong.
Here, here's the blanket.
All right, put it around her. You help me, Mr. Mason. Move the oxygen cylinder close to her.
Right, Doctor. There you are.
All right. Now take the pillow from under her head.
All right.
Phone the ambulance while I adjust the oxygen mask.
Yes. Number?
It's 47441.
47441.
Tell them that it's exposure to illuminating gas.
Very well. Hello. Would you send an ambulance to the office of Dr. Kenneth Rowe? It's an emergency.
I've got a collar and uniform belt loose.
Exposure to illuminating gas. How is she?
Well, she wasn't in that room very long, but it doesn't take long.
Well, you have anything else to do now?
Not till the ambulance comes.
I see. Doctor, the man responsible for this is named Gus, as I told you. Now, Gus knew that Suzanne Barkley came to you for treatment. So Gus came here for information. He got what he wanted.
Mrs. Barrow?
Yes.
Oh, no, he didn't. I've known Mrs. Barrow all my life. She wouldn't tell anyone one thing without my say-so.
But the fact also remains he got what he wanted. He took it by force.
Well, maybe, but he couldn't force Hilda to tell him a thing. I know this woman.
Dr. Gus is smooth. He's believable.
No, sir, we're going in circles, Mr. Mason.
All right, then, let's hit a straight line. Even if he couldn't force her to tell him anything, he could make her give him something.
All right, what?
Records?
Harry.
Well, now you've got something, but I don't see... What date was the girl in here?
October 29th.
Her name, Barkley.
Oh, she didn't use her real name.
Well, that doesn't matter. My files are cross-indexed by date and name. I'll look in just a minute. Now, I've got to check Mrs. Barrow's heart. Hand me that stethoscope.
Oh, yes.
Let me check the files, Dr. Rowe.
All right, we use a simple system. The names and dates are...
Don't bother explaining, Doctor. Miss Street is an expert.
Just a minute here. Huh. Oh.
How is she?
I don't like the sound of her heart.
Oh?
Harry, there aren't any records for the 29th.
You sure about that?
Yes, sir. Records for the 26th and 30th, but no records of any patients on the 29th.
29th. That was on a Thursday. Was your office open then, Doctor?
Oh, yes, Mr. Mason. I had at least one patient that day. I seem to remember the young lady.
Uh-huh. Well, her age is 19. She's pretty, well-mannered. She had a cut on her right hand.
Oh, yes. Yes, I remember now. I had to take stitches.
Mm-hmm. Are you sure you filled in a card for her?
Well, I always make a record, always.
Gus took them. There must have been information on one of the cards.
Doctor, tell me, what information do you fill in? All pertinent medical details, of course.
Oh, yes?
Her address, Doctor? Would you list her address?
Oh, yes?
Well, she wouldn't give her address, Stella.
Wait just a minute, Mr. Mason.
Yes, Doctor.
Just a minute here while I think. See, now, there's a right hand.
All right.
I had to take a number of stitches in it. Oh, it's coming back to me now. Yes, by right, she ought to have seen a doctor before she came to me. There was danger of infection.
Mm-hmm.
I prescribed an antibiotic.
Uh-huh. Maybe we have something here. You prescribed medicine. Now, did you give her a prescription or did...
No, let me think. Rooming house.
What?
There's something about a rooming house. This is it, Mason. I remember the girl was exhausted, said she was going to a rooming house. Now, she asked me to phone in the prescription and have it delivered. She didn't have an address. Mm-hmm. But to save time, I phoned the pharmacist, I remember. And now, she was going to notify them of her address as soon as she got a room. Now, is that any help to you?
Yes, it's a tremendous possibility. You remember what drugstore you called?
Well, I rotate them. There's 6 pharmacies in town. I call a different one each day for patients who don't have a preference.
Mm-hmm. Well, this was Thursday.
That's the day I called Badgers.
Badgers. Would that notation be on her record card?
Oh, yes, my records are complete.
Doctor, would you phone that drugstore immediately? Gus is probably there right now. Tell them to give him no information.
All right. If Miss Street will get them for me. Miss Street, will you call 22241?
Oh, yes, right away, Doctor.
Adela, while you phone the drugstore, I'm going to find another phone and call the police.
All right, Chief.
Gus is probably in that drugstore right now, Doctor. And now is our chance to nail him.
Well, an instant's delay at this time could be crucial for Perry Mason's right. At this very moment, August Jansen enters Badgers, speaks to the clerk behind the drug counter.
Can I help you, sir?
Yes, if you please. I'm faced with a problem. I'm trying to locate my younger sister, and you can help me.
I'm glad to do what I can, mister, but I don't see how
Let me explain. My sister underwent medical treatment from Dr. Kenneth Rowe last October 29th. Dr. Rowe prescribed medicine for her.
Yes, sir?
I don't know my sister's address. However, the medicine ordered from your drugstore was delivered to her. You have a list of deliveries?
Well, yes. But...
Well, then, would you mind looking up October 29th? She used the name Sarah Burke.
Use the name, you say?
My sister is running away. The poor child is frightened.
That's too bad.
Thank you. Would you check the files now? Tell me where you delivered medicine to Sarah Burke on the 29th.
Well, I could do that, of course.
It shouldn't
but...
take you long.
Well, no, sir, but
it's important. Time is vitally important.
Well, it isn't that, sir, but, you see, I can't give out any information without Dr. Rowe's okay.
Oh, I should have given you this first. I just left Dr. Rowe's office. He gave me this card. There, you see. Sarah Burke, this medicine to be delivered.
Oh, well. Well, I guess if Doc Rowe turned that over to you, it's okay. Let's see. October 29th. Now, that's in this drawer here. You're lucky it wasn't a year ago, or I'd have to go up to the attic.
Yes, it is fortunate, isn't it?
Burke. Here we are. Sarah Burke. Well, I found it right off.
Oh, let me see.
Hey. Oh, excuse me, sir. Hello?
Eddie?
Yes, sir.
This is Dr. Rowe.
Oh, yes, Doc. Say.
Be quiet and listen. Don't mention my name. Is there a man in the store wearing dark glasses, black mustache?
Well, yes, sir. I'm talking to
Be quiet, Eddie. Just do what I tell you. The man's a crook.
Huh?
He tried to kill Mrs. Barrow. He stole a record card from my office. The police are on the way.
Yes, sir. Well, wait a minute. You're sure they're coming?
Yes, Eddie. They're on their way. Now, just stall the fella until the police get there. And, Eddie, don't let on.
Yes, sir.
Use your head, man. All you have to do is to stall him a moment.
Yes, sir. Doc. Now, let's see. So where we is something the matter?
That was an important call.
Just mere routine. Nothing. Just routine.
Give me that prescription.
Prescription?
One in your hand. Give it to me.
There was a mistake. I was mistaken.
There'll be no mistake if I pull this trigger. So pass it over. Pass it over. Thinking that was the police. I get it. Where's the back way out? Tell me.
Past the counter and... Stop that man! Stop him! Stop thief! Murderers! Stop!
Well, a moment's time can make a difference. What do you think happened in that instant when the police arrived and Gus Jansen started out the back way? We'll learn on Monday, so by all means join us, won't you? It's immediately after the close of our last episode. As in the town of Smithville...
There's the drugstore, Perry.
Mm-hmm.
And there's the police car.
Yes, I see that, too. All right, inside, Bella.
It was terrible, Oscar. Just terrible. He pointed a pistol right at me. Right at me.
He grabbed the prescription
You're
out
all
of my
right
hand.
now, Eddie. Calm down.
That's easy for you to say. He didn't point the pistol at you. Your life wasn't in danger.
mister. We've had some trouble
here.
My name is Perry Mason. Here's my identification.
Oh, yes, Mr. Mason. We had a call from a lieutenant of city police, Lieutenant Halverson.
That's right. We're working together. What happened?
Well, a man pulled a gun on Eddie, grabbed a prescription, and ran out the back way.
You know the address on that prescription, Mr. Eddie?
I had a nerve-wracking experience. You should have seen it. I might have lost my life.
But you're all right now.
Well, a man doesn't forget something like that.
Mr. Eddie, did you see an address on the prescription?
Well, go on, Eddie. Answer him.
I don't have to answer him. He's not an officer of the law.
There isn't time to stand on ceremony, sir. The man who threatened you with a gun is doing his best to find a young girl named Suzanne Barkley. He'll kill that girl if he finds her before we do.
The city police back up everything you just told you, Mr. Eddie.
Now, did you see the address on that prescription?
No.
Oh, Perry.
Did you notice the name of a street or a number or...
No, sir. I just got the prescription out of the files when he grabbed it. But I can tell you what the man looked like. He had on dark glasses, and he had a mustache.
Both of which he removed the moment he left this store.
Well, what's that?
He wore a disguise.
And we have to find that address.
Well, I can't tell you what I don't know.
Yes. The prescription was delivered. Now, do you make deliveries?
Certainly not.
There's a high school boy comes in afternoons. He makes deliveries. We don't come in till 12.
Perry, shall I phone the school and see
Oh,
if
excuse me. William is here now. He came in early. William! William, leave that chocolate syrup alone and come here.
I was only making myself a chocolate sundae, Mr. Eddie.
William, why aren't you in school?
I usually have algebra class this period, but there's no algebra class today because the teacher's got pneumonia.
All right, never mind. This man here wants to ask you some questions.
Yes. Now, William, you delivered a prescription on October 29th.
Wait till I check the calendar.
What's the matter with you? Didn't you hear the man say it was October 29th? Why look at the calendar?
Because if I look...
Just be quiet and listen. Now, this is a very important matter.
William, you made this delivery several months ago.
Gosh, mister, I don't
Now,
see how you expect me...
wait. There are some things to help. First, you delivered the medicine to a very pretty young girl. Here, this is her picture.
I delivered medicine to her?
Yes. On October 29th. Do you remember?
No, sir.
I was hoping that her picture would help you recall. Now, William, you're going to have to remember some detail about that particular day. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
This won't be easy. But if you try hard enough, perhaps you'll remember making the delivery.
Well, I'll try as hard as I can, mister, but... Well, wouldn't it be a good idea for me to know what day of the week it was?
Yes. The 29th was a Thursday.
Thursday, you say? Gee, that's one on you, Mr. Eddie.
What are you talking about?
Well, that was during the football season. You see, officer, I'm a cheerleader, and we have cheerleaders practice on Thursday afternoons, and I don't work on Thursday afternoons during football season.
Oh, dear, that's true.
You make deliveries on Thursdays during the football season, Mr. Eddie.
Yes, I do.
You see, I asked to see a calendar, Mr. Eddie, but you told me to be quiet.
Yes, William.
I thought maybe it was on a Thursday.
We all
And I could have
understand.
told you right off if I'd seen
Be
a calendar.
quiet, William.
Mr. Eddie, did you look at the girl's picture?
Well, yes, I looked at it, but I don't remember.
Well, perhaps you only delivered it to the door.
No, wait, I'm trying to remember. Now, October 29th. Now, that was the last Thursday in October. And we had a cold snap at the end of October.
Tell me, how do you make your deliveries? You use a truck or...
Oh, we use a motor scooter.
Oh. Well, then you must have been cold, Mr. Eddie.
Yes, you're right. I was. And I remember I was thankful that I had only a few deliveries to make. Only 3, as a matter of fact. Now, I remember 2 of them, but the other one, now that could have been the one. I don't remember the address, but, it seems to me it was a rooming house on 5th Street, or maybe it was 6th. No, I'm almost sure it was 5th.
All right, let's go take a look. Got your car, Mr. Mason? Yes, I have. I'll follow you. Suppose you take Mr. Eddie in your car. All right.
Harry?
Yes?
There's Paul Drake getting out of the taxi.
Well, he's just in time, I hope. Paul, over here. Step on it.
As you know, there's urgent reason for speed. Because at this very moment, Gus Jansen glances at the slip of paper in his hand, the prescription blank he just stole from Mr. Eddie, stops his car in front of a rooming house,
on the door. Oh, leave it on the door. I haven't got a bit of change. Not a bit. Just leave it on the door.
Mrs. Dooley.
Oh, I said I haven't got any change, and I have to go down cellar and tend to furnace.
Mrs. Dooley.
Are you the man from the dry cleaners?
No.
Oh. I thought you were the man from the dry cleaners. Well, come in. Come in out of the damp. Not that it's much better in here. That furnace doesn't put out enough heat. I'm only joking, mister. It's a good furnace and a comfortable house. I run a respectable place, let me tell you. You want to rent a room, dearie?
No, thanks.
Oh, you don't, eh? You selling something?
No, I'm not selling anything. I want to find a girl who rented one of your rooms.
Oh. Who? Rita?
Well, she didn't use her real name. I'm not certain what name she did use, but I believe she used the name of Burke. Sarah Burke.
Sounds funny, don't it?
What?
You want to find a girl, but you don't know her name. You think she's here now? There's nobody named Burke here.
Well, she might not be here now. But do you recall a girl named Burke? She came here late in October.
Not offhand.
She's young, blonde, a very beautiful girl.
Late October, you say?
Yes, there's more. Her hand was injured. It was bandaged.
Oh.
She had medicine delivered from the drugstore.
Oh.
You remember?
Not so fast, young fella. How do you know she wants you to find her?
Why, Mrs. Dooley.
Not using her own name, and she's running away?
Oh, not from me, Mrs. Dooley.
No?
No, I'm her brother.
Oh, you're her brother.
Well, naturally, I want to find her.
Naturally.
I'm worried about my sister.
Let's go down cellar.
Down cellar? Why?
So we can talk cozy in private.
Well, there's no one here.
Uh-huh. But I got to tend to that furnace. I could get my furnace repaired if I had a little money. The furnace people told me they'd put it in first-class shape for $200. But you're not interested in my problems. Are you, dearie?
Oh, I don't know, Mrs. Dooley. When you've got personal problems, you're interested in other people's problems.
Mm-hmm.
Now, let's see. I want to find my sister. You want to get your furnace repaired.
Yes.
Were you thinking each of us can help the other?
You're a real gentleman, dearie. I knew it when I set eyes on you.
All right, Mrs. Dooley. Suppose you lead the way down cellar. After you, Mrs. Dooley.
As you just heard, Gus is on the point of making a key discovery. And as you know, Perry Mason is on his way. And will Mason be on time to stop Gus? Either way, there'll be action and excitement. So you'll join us tomorrow, won't you? It's immediately after the close of our last episode. As in the town of Smithville, Perry Mason and Paul Drake follow a police sedan to the address of a rooming house on 5th Street. The police siren is wide open, and both cars are driving with all possible speed, and with reason. Gus Jansen is ahead in the grim race to find Suzanne Barkley. Gus is already talking to the landlady of the rooming house where...
Now, look, mister, you understand I'm not trying to make you give me something.
I understand, Mrs. Dooley.
If you want to turn around and walk out that door, I won't say a word. Not a word.
We understand each other, Mrs. Dooley. You want some money to have your furnace repaired? I want to find my sister. One hand washes the other, right?
Uh-huh.
What's the matter?
You give in awful easy.
Mrs. Dooley, I love my sister. I'm quite willing to pay for information leading to her. But to pay any reasonable amount, of course. I could go to the police.
I ain't worried you'll go to the police. I've been around a long time, mister. You learn things when you run a rooming house. You ain't going to the cops.
I'd prefer not to. I'd much rather deal directly with you. We're wasting time, Mr. Dooley. I believe you suggested we go down to your cellar?
Yeah, I got to put some coal in that furnace. Unless you'll do it for me.
Now, snap out of it, Mrs. Dooley. I want that information, and I want it fast.
Huh?
Can anybody hear us talking here?
Well, one of the roomers might come in any time.
We'll go to your room.
My room opens off the cellar.
All right, have it your way. We go down cellar. But we go now, Mrs. Dooley, because I'm in a hurry.
Maybe I won't tell you after all.
Oh, yes, you will.
Are you threatening me?
You'll tell me because you want the money.
This way. Now be careful. It's kind of dark.
Why don't you turn on the light?
Lights cost money.
All right. Now, what about Suzanne?
Who?
The girl, her real name is Suzanne Barkley.
Wait till we go downstairs. And wait till I turn on the light. Now, let's see the color of your money.
Okay, Mrs. Dooley. Now, take a look.
Oh, you've got a lot more than $200. If you'd give me a little more, I could get a new furnace. I wouldn't need to get this old one repaired.
We made a bargain. I keep my word, Mrs. Dooley. I get mad if someone doesn't keep hers.
Oh, don't get excited, mister.
I'm getting awfully impatient, Mrs. Dooley.
Yeah. The girl you say is your sister came in here late October. I remember her good. She had a bandage on her hand.
Okay.
She'd been to the doctor. She had medicine delivered from the drugstore, just like you said.
I want to know how I can find her now.
Well, she only stayed for a week.
She leave a forwarding address?
No, she didn't.
You got any idea where she is now?
No.
Now, how did you expect to parlay that into $200?
Huh?
You haven't told me a thing.
I ain't finished talking. I seen the girl.
Where?
Right here. Right here in this house. I saw her not over a week ago. You got time to listen now, young fella?
I'm listening.
Yeah. And I'm waiting. I want the money.
After?
At least give me part of it. Give me part of it, or I won't say another word.
Mrs. Dooley. All right. Here. Here's $100.
Give me.
Now keep talking.
46. Wait till I count it. 80. Yes, it's all here. Now, where was I?
Suzanne was here not a week ago.
Oh, yes. She came late at night.
Alone?
All by herself. I feel so sorry for the poor girl, all alone and frightened. She said she wanted to know if any letters came after she left.
Go on.
Then she asked what she really came to find out. She asked if anybody had come looking for her.
Just, anybody?
She asked about one man in particular. She asked if a young fellow, about your age, with green eyes, like yours, I guess, and about your size. She asked if a young fellow who looks like that had come looking for her. Oh, she wasn't talking about you, though. She's scared to death the fellow she described will find her. And, of course, she isn't afraid of her brother.
Naturally. Go on, Mrs. Dooley.
Oh, I don't want to bore you, mister. Let's go back upstairs.
You haven't put coal in your furnace.
I want to go upstairs. Get out of my way.
You haven't got your other $100.
Stand aside, please. Stand aside.
And you haven't finished telling me. Now, don't be nervous, Mrs. Dooley. Here. There's the other $100. Don't you want to count it?
No, I know it's all here.
Now, tell me the rest.
Well, we can talk just as good upstairs. We can go in the parlor.
This is okay. Oh, don't be nervous, Mrs. Dooley. Believe me, there's no reason. Would I give you all that money if I planned to hurt you?
Oh, it's not. But you got a mean look in your eye.
Never mind that. Now start talking.
Yes, sir. The girl comes back every month.
What?
At least she's come back every month since she left here.
You don't know where she is now?
No, and I asked her. But she's come back every month. I expect she'll come back next month.
Yes, probably.
And I'm thinking, if I knew where to reach you, I could let you know the next time she comes.
You think she'll sit and wait for as long as it takes me to get here?
Well, there's lots of ways we can work it.
I could have somebody waiting here for her.
You could, or there's a little room in my apartment. I could push her in there and lock the door.
What?
Just till you have time to get here. Of course, I'd expect you to pay me a little something.
You like money, don't you?
A person has to look out for herself, I always say.
Yeah.
Now, don't worry. I can fix it so your sister doesn't run away again. You want me to do that? You want to leave me a place to call you? What's the matter?
I've got a problem, Mrs. Dooley.
Huh?
You see, other people are looking for my sister. Are you willing to help me for a certain consideration? How can I be sure you won't help them?
Oh, I wouldn't do a thing like that.
You wouldn't?
No, sir. I keep my bargains, too. Don't you worry about a thing, dearie.
Yes, I'd like to trust you, Mrs.
Oh,
Dooley.
you can, dearie.
$200 worth. What if they offer you $300?
You've got more than 300.
So have they. I'm not saying you'd sell out to the highest bidder, but you're a keen woman, Mrs. Dooley. It's a temptation. You can see why this leaves me a problem.
There's nothing you can do about it, mister.
No?
No, there ain't. Because you don't know when she'll come back again.
No, that isn't a problem. She comes every month. There are 4 weeks in a month. She came last week, according to you, which means she'll return in about 3 weeks.
Oh.
Oh, no, that isn't a problem. But what am I going to do about you?
Oh, you're not going to do one thing. I'm going up those stairs.
What?
I'm going up those stairs. Don't you try to stop me.
Why, Mrs. Dooley, I wouldn't think of trying to stop you. No, indeed, Mrs. Dooley, you go right up those stairs. Yes, right now. Go right ahead. After you, Mrs. Dooley.
Meanwhile, only a block away.
The police car is slowing, Perry.
Yes.
Paul.
Yeah?
How's your head? I'm okay.
No, I mean it. Now, we may go into action. How is your head?
Well, still sore, but I'm okay.
This is 5th Street, Perry. The drugstore clerk thinks the rooming house is on 5th Street.
Well,
How much do you figure Gus is ahead of us?
I don't know. 10 minutes, 15 at the most.
Got a good chance. Police car stopped in front of that brown house.
That's where the drug clerk is pointing across the street.
The big frame house. Dooley's rooming house.
All right. Now, Bella.
Yes, Chief.
There's only one police officer here now, and I think Gus is inside that house.
You going to wait?
No, we don't wait. Now, you hop out. Run and ask the police officer to cover the entrance. Paul and I will go in the front.
Oh, I want to go
You
in.
do what you're told. Ask him to cover the back entrance.
Oh, Perry. Oh, well, all right.
Okay, Paul. You got a gun? Yeah. Don't hesitate to use it. Gus is armed, and he's a killer.
Well, what do you think is going to happen? What will Perry Mason find inside Dooley's rooming house? We'll learn tomorrow, so you'll join us, won't you? It's mid-morning, immediately after the close of our last episode. As in the town of Smithville, Perry Mason and Private Detective Paul Drake get out of Mason's car in front of Mrs. Dooley's rooming house. And now...
Everything seems quiet, Perry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, don't hear a thing. I try the door?
Oh, wait. Give the officer time to cover the back exit. Paul.
Yeah.
If we're lucky, Gus is inside. And if he is, things are going to happen fast when he sees us.
Yeah, we could wait for reinforcements.
It'd be safer, but we don't dare. You can wait. Let me have your gun. You wait here.
No chance.
Come on, you just got out of the hospital.
Where I had a cute little Nursey. I'd like to see Nursey again.
Well, you may get the chance.
Well, quit scaring me, will you?
Hmm.
You think it's time?
Knock on the door. Try the knob.
Yeah. Open.
Let's go in.
I'll go first.
Paul.
Me first, Perry. I got the gun.
Mm-hmm.
Well, no way of telling which is Mrs. Dooley's room.
Well, we have to start somewhere. Here, I'll try this door.
Yeah. Steps must lead to the basement. Mighty dark. I don't see a light switch anywhere.
I'm going down.
Hey, wait for me.
Be careful, these stairs are steep.
Yeah, almost pitched into you. See anything?
I'm not certain. Well, here's the light switch.
Perry.
Hmm?
Look on the floor. This must be Mrs. Dewey.
Wait, Paul, don't move her. Well, doesn't matter.
Dead.
Yep.
Yeah. See why she didn't put coal in the furnace. Neck's broken.
It looks like.
Harry?
I asked you to wait outside, Della.
Oh, we have been waiting, but we didn't hear anything. Oh, Perry.
Mrs. Dooley, yes, I imagine it is. All right, Paul, go out, tell the police officer what's happened. Tell him it's homicide,
Well, it could have been an accident. She was coming downstairs. She could have tripped and fallen, No, I don't think so either. This is Gus's work.
All right, you go tell the officer, Paul.
Right. Oh, you think Gus is cleared out?
Yes, he's gone.
Okay.
You want to go with him, Della?
No, I'll stay with you. What does it mean, Perry?
Well, you see the pattern, Della. Gus got information from the nurse in Dr. Rowe's office. He tried to kill her so nobody else could follow the trail. This time he got information from Mrs. Dooley. And this time he made certain she couldn't repeat what she told him.
Must be awfully important or he wouldn't have killed her. Perry, he may have located Suzanne Barkley.
Yes, it's possible. At any rate, he learned something important.
And got away with it, with intimidation and bribery and now murder.
Well, there's a way to stop him. Him and the men behind him.
Okay, Perry. Send in the report.
All right, ask him to take my statement immediately, too, will you, Paul? I've got to get back to the city as fast as we can make it.
How do you know which way to jump? Hit a dead end.
You mean Mrs. Dooley?
Sure.
But not Sue Barkley.
Well, not yet. When Gus catches up with her.
Which he may very well do, because he learned something from Mrs. Dooley. Something that we will probably never learn.
But why hurry to get back to the city?
Because, Della, that is where Suzanne Barkley is going.
What?
If we're lucky. If we're lucky, we'll make her come back to the city. And to a certain place in the city.
How?
Put your coat on, Della.
I said, how make Suzanne come back?
I'll use bait.
What? Green cheese?
No, Paul.
Well, you're not kidding about this.
No, I'm not. There is a way to do it. I'll have to use bait I don't want to use. It'll be tough on her. But since we've got to be, okay, we'll be tough.
Well, at this moment, August Jensen is thoroughly satisfied with himself and confident in his future safety. In fact, he whistles a pleasant tune as, on the outskirts of Smithville, he stops at a tavern.
Albert.
Mr. Jensen.
Oh, get up. I'll sit down. Hey, I sent for Junior.
Junior's on another job, so Mr. Doherty sent me when he got your telegram.
Oh, uh-huh. How is J.T.?
Okay.
And Kate Beekman?
The redhead? She works in a nightclub. I never go to the nightclub, Mr. Jensen. I work in the garage.
I remember, Albert.
Yeah. You never forget anything. You're smart, Mr. Jensen.
That's true, Albert. I've got brains. Hey, what are you drinking?
Beer, Mr. Jensen. Just a short beer.
Ah, looks good. Perhaps I'll join you.
Now, Mr. Jensen, that ain't smart. You know what happens when you start drinking.
What happens, Albert? You tell me.
You can't handle the stuff. I don't want to make you mad, Mr. Jensen, but you know you can't handle the stuff.
You talk too much, Albert.
I'll shut up.
You've already talked too much.
I'm awful sorry.
I can drink it or leave it alone. Do you hear me, Albert? I've learned to handle this stuff.
Uh-huh.
Remember that. If I want to drink, I'll take a drink.
Okay, Mr.
And I don't want
Jensen.
advice from a dummy like you.
Yeah. Oh, okay, Mr. Jensen.
I don't need advice from anybody. Now get that, Albert. Because I am smart.
I guess you pulled it off.
What?
Mr. Doherty told me something. He said, if you find a girl, you'll be so proud of yourself you'll want to take a drink. He said, I better remind you not to take a drink.
J.T. said that, did he?
Uh-huh. I guess Mr. Doherty's smart, too.
Albert, why don't you shut your mouth so you'll learn why I sent for you?
Are you sure, Mr. Jansen? But you sent for Junior.
You'll have to do until Junior can come up here. I haven't located Sue Barkley yet. I found out where she was living. Landlady says she comes back every month to see if anybody's checking on her. Now, she was here a week ago, which means it'll probably be 2 or 3 weeks before she comes back again. But I want somebody on hand, just in case. That's a rooming house. I want you to wait a couple of days, then go there. Get a room, keep your eyes open during the night. The landlady told me Suzanne always comes back at night. Now, do you think you can do it?
Uh-huh. I'm awful dumb, but that ain't hard to understand. Only one thing, Mr. Jansen.
All right.
Well, you say wait a couple of days.
Yeah, until the guy who owns the house hires somebody else.
You said you talked to the landlady.
I did. Not an hour ago. Now they need a new landlady.
What happened to the one you talked to, Mr. Jansen?
There's a funny thing, Albert. She was standing at the top of the cellar steps when suddenly she lost her balance. Fell down the stairs and broke her neck.
No.
Oh, yes, Albert.
Gee, that's too bad.
Yes, isn't it? But now she can't tell anyone else what she told me. In other words, most clouds have silver linings, Albert. Now, don't try to figure it out.
How come she lost her balance, Mr. Jansen?
Don't try to figure that out either.
I don't have to figure it out. I know how she lost her balance. Did you have to do it, Mr. Jansen?
It's a simple solution. What do you care, Albert?
I don't. Not one way or the other. But if I wasn't so dumb, I think you like doing what you did, Mr. Jansen.
Maybe you aren't as dumb as you think you are, Albert.
Yes, Gus Jansen has every reason to feel confident in his safety. Gus is positive he will locate Suzanne Barkley in 3 short weeks. But there are surprises in store for Gus, as we shall learn in the immediate future. So you'll join us tomorrow, won't you? It's early afternoon, sometime after the close of our last episode, as Perry Mason returns to the city with Private Detective Paul Drake. Gives Paul rapid instructions. Now the lawyer heads for the office of newspaper columnist Jake Jacobson. We'll join Mason in a few minutes. First, to the nightclub headquarters of J.T. Doherty's crime syndicate, where Gus Jansen, who's also just returned to the city, enters the manager's office.
Hello, August.
Well, I thought I'd have to phone you.
I'm here, so you won't. You can tell me now if you did what you were sent to do.
Been worried, J.T.?
Concerned, August. The big fellow and I have been concerned.
How is the big fellow?
Never mind. Well?
I didn't find Suzanne Barkley. Now, wait a minute. It's only a matter of a short time before I do find her.
Well, tell me.
I located the rooming house where she stayed in Smithville. I talked to the landlady, Mrs. Dooley. Suzanne's afraid I'm on her trail. She comes back every month to ask if anyone's been asking questions.
Oh?
Suzanne thinks Mrs. Dooley is her friend.
Well, what did you do? Buy the landlady off?
Uh-huh. And I gave her some money. She couldn't talk fast enough. Suzanne will come back in about 3 weeks. Meanwhile, I left Albert Dollar up there to keep his eyes open. What's the matter?
3 weeks. You have to wait for 3 weeks.
Oh, why not?
The police are searching for Miss Barkley.
J.T., they've been searching for 5 months.
They've got new information, August.
J.T., remember how I said I'd learn what the police know? And didn't I?
You did.
And didn't I say I'd get ahead of them? And didn't I get to the landlady first?
You did. But why won't the police follow up? You think that woman, Mrs. Dooley, will stay bought off?
Well, there's one little reason why she won't repeat what she told me.
Oh? Tell me, August.
Mrs. Dooley was talking to me at the head of her cellar stairs. tripped over something, fell downstairs and broke her neck.
Oh, that's regrettable. Wait a minute. What happens if Suzanne Barkley learns the landlady is dead?
How will she learn? An old woman fell down a flight of stairs. That's a page 10 item in one day's paper.
Yeah, very well, August.
And it's okay?
I think so. The girl will come to you. You will be waiting.
You know I'll be waiting, J.T. I'll go up a few days ahead of time.
See how it is.
Yeah. Who is it?
Kate Beekman. The chef wants to know about tonight's menu.
Oh, just a second, Katie. I'll go out and talk to her. You want me to keep making friends, don't you?
Oh, of course, my boy. Have a good time, August.
You know me, J.T. I always have a good time.
Oh, Gus.
How are you, Katie? Where are you going?
Oh, aren't the menus in the office?
No, they haven't come yet.
Oh.
How are you, Kate?
Oh, fine, thank you.
I'm awfully sorry about last night.
What?
I'm sorry I wasn't here to take you home.
Oh, that's all right. I don't mind riding the bus.
Oh, thanks.
Hmm?
Thank you very, very much. The one reason I didn't want to leave town was because I wouldn't get to take you home, and you didn't even remember.
Oh, well, I did remember, but I understand you're busy.
Katie, seeing you is important. Other things are important, too, but...
Like your trip out of town?
You won't even listen to me.
Of course I'll listen. Did you have an interesting trip?
No, it was just a business trip. Have to go away again in 2 or 3 weeks. When I do, I'll probably be gone for several days. Look, do you want to talk about business?
Well, not particularly.
I'd much rather talk about you and me, if you'll listen.
All right.
I won't be busy during the next couple of weeks, so I've been planning something for you.
What?
How'd you like to learn to drive a car?
Oh!
Would you?
Oh, I'd love to, but I couldn't ask you to...
Remember, Katie, you didn't ask me. I asked you for the privilege of teaching you. May I?
Why, yes, of course.
Good. We'll start this afternoon. You sure you want to?
Oh, how can I thank you, Gus?
By smiling like that. You're lovely when you smile, Katie. You're lovely anyway.
Why, thank you. That's awfully kind of you.
I'm not just being kind. It's the truth. I'll always tell you the truth, Katie. You may not like what I think, but I'll always tell you fair and square. I'd like you to believe that.
I do believe you, Gus.
Now, I'll say thanks. First driving lessons this afternoon, okay?
Now, in the Daily Blade building.
Yeah. Mr. Mason. Stella.
Hi, Jake.
Jake.
How are you?
Yeah.
Got a minute?
Sure. Sit down. Here, what'll I move these travel folders? Oh, what do you think of my private office?
That's wonderful. How's Helen?
Well, so's Jimmy. And if I could get Helen to believe he's okay, everything would be fine.
What?
Here, look at this travel folder.
Well, Bermuda.
Yeah, Bermuda. Ain't it pretty?
Lovely.
Mm-hmm.
So?
Well, listen to this. I talked to Arch. You remember my editor, Arch Kerner.
Oh, yes, very well.
Well, I finally browbeat him into sending me to Bermuda. All expenses paid. For me and Helen. Arch didn't like it, but I finally got my way. Now Helen doesn't like it. She doesn't want to leave Jimmy.
Oh?
Only for a week.
Oh, well, now, I don't think they should leave their poor little baby either, do you, Della?
Hmm? Oh, no, I certainly don't, Chief.
What are you talking about?
Jake, you remember when I began investigating the auto theft syndicate, you said you wanted in when the time was ripe?
Yeah?
It's ripe. Now, so far, our only lead is to a man called Gus. Gus is a key figure in the syndicate. Once we identify him, the syndicate is as good as broken.
Now, so what's your problem?
We don't know his full name. We don't know what he looks like. We don't know any of his associates.
Oh.
However, we do know a girl who can identify him. She is in hiding.
Been looking for it?
Yes. We followed the trail to Smithville. That's a town at stake.
Yeah.
Now, get this picture. Gus is also looking for her. If he finds her first, he'll kill her. He killed a woman today.
Ah?
He made it look like an accident, but he killed the woman who gave him certain information. We don't know what that information was, except that it was a lead to the girl. Now, we have been following that girl, searching for her. Right at this minute, we're blocked. Gus isn't. Now, if we don't cut a corner, Gus is ahead of us. Possibly, there's a way to make the girl come forward.
You want me to help?
I do.
I've never seen Bermuda.
You have seen a girl in danger. You remember when Helen's life was threatened?
I'll never forget it to my dying day. I'll never forget how you helped us. Just tell me what to do, Mr. Mason.
Thank you, Jake.
I gotta call Arch and tell him I don't want to go to Bermuda after all.
Oh, good. Call him and get an appointment.
You mean Arch has got to help, too?
Yes. You'll have to get his cooperation, but without disclosing full details.
Oh, I'd rather take raw meat away from a tiger. Okay, Mr. Mason, what's the deal?
You get your appointment with Kerner, and then I'll explain.
Boy, I hate to do this. Hello, Arch. This is Jake. How's the boy, Archie? Uh-huh. Say, Arch, I want to run up and see you for a minute. Right away. Arch, we're all busy. Arch, I got to see you, and it's important, so calm down and tell me when I can... Oh, now, come on. It'll have to be sooner than that. Okay, Archie. Be a couple of hours, Mr. Mason.
That's time enough. Now, Jake. Suzanne Barkley will come forward if she has a good reason. Now, we have to make her think there is a good reason.
Okay.
You will have to plant a story, and it'll have to be a page one story. We have to make it appear to Suzanne Barkley that a tragedy...
As you just heard, Perry Mason believes he can make Suzanne Barkley come forward. But how, do you think, does he plan to do it? We'll learn tomorrow. So by all means, hear tomorrow's important and dramatic development. It's early afternoon, shortly after the close of our last episode, as Perry Mason enters the huge residence of Suzanne Barkley's mother, follows the servant to Mrs. Barkley's drawing room.
Hello, Mr. Mason. Miss Street.
Hello, Mrs. Barkley.
Oh, please, don't stand, Mrs. Barkley.
I don't mind standing, Mr. Mason, but I'll sit down if you will.
Thank you.
May I offer you some refreshment?
No, thank you. Lieutenant Halverson spoke to your brother.
Halverson? Is that the lieutenant's name?
Yes, Donald Halverson.
What a pleasant name. It's quite important for parents to give their children pleasant names.
Yes.
We've thought of many different names before naming our daughter Suzanne. But it doesn't matter now.
Please, Mrs. Barkley.
Oh, forgive me. Forgive me if I'm rude, Mr. Mason. But why did you come here? Your coming here doesn't matter. Nothing matters.
You think Suzanne is dead?
Yes, Mr. Mason, I do.
Mrs. Barkley, we have every reason to believe that she is alive and well.
But the lieutenant told my brother you didn't find her. He said... What did you learn, Mr. Mason?
Suzanne went to Smithville when she ran away. We picked up her trail there and followed it long enough to learn that she is alive and well. We went as far as we could go because... Well, something happened to destroy the trail. Now we must try something else. We have to give Suzanne a reason to come forward.
Reason?
Yes. A reason for her to come at least part way out of hiding. Mrs. Barkley, suppose Suzanne reads that you have been killed in an automobile accident.
What?
Suppose we stage a fake accident with your car. And suppose the papers carry the story of your death. And suppose we go ahead and plan a funeral. She'd come to your funeral, Mrs. Barkley.
No.
I think she would. Well, she might come in a disguise, but she would be there. Suzanne loves you. That's why I have come to you.
You don't know what you're asking, Mr. Mason, but I do know. Of course my daughter loves me. How can you expect me to hurt her by pretending I've been killed? She's alive. She's well. Don't ask me to hurt her anymore.
Yes, it will cause her pain. But when she comes forward and we make her understand she's not without friends...
I won't do it, Mr. Mason.
Well, I didn't want to tell you this.
What?
You remember Gus? The man who frightened Suzanne into hiding?
Yes.
Gus is still searching for Suzanne. A moment ago, I said something happened in Smithville, something that stopped our search. Now, I'll tell you what happened. Gus killed a woman.
Mr. Mason.
That woman gave him information about your daughter. Perhaps she even told him where Suzanne is at this moment.
Oh, no.
We do know she told him something of importance because he killed her. Now, whatever information that woman gave to Gus is gone forever. But Gus knows it. He'll find Suzanne before we do unless we take action. He'll find her and he'll kill your daughter just as he killed that woman in Smithville. We're dealing with a warped, twisted man, Mrs. Barkley. And none of us wants to hurt Suzanne. If there were some other way, I would not suggest this. Fellow, get Lieutenant Halverson on the phone for me.
Right, Chief.
I know what your answer will be, Mrs. Barkley, because I know you loved Suzanne.
Hello?
Please save time by giving your consent now, Mrs. Barkley.
All right, Mr. Mason.
You understand that you will have to help me.
Yes, I understand.
It's Perry Mason. He's on the line, Perry.
Oh, thank you, Doctor. Oh, Halverson, listen, we're going ahead. Now, have you a man who has trick driving experience? Well, we'll have to plan it out in detail, and we've got to do it quickly. Wait, what? No, I just spoke to Mrs. Barkley. She's willing to do whatever she can to help.
Meanwhile, in the newspaper building of the Daily Blade, columnist Jake Jacobson pauses outside the office of his editor, straightens his coat, fixes a bright smile on his face, and then...
Yeah, it's me. Me, Arch. Jake? Come in, Jake. Ah, how you doing, Arch?
Just fine. Have a chair. Thanks.
Say, Arch.
What were you going to say?
No, you go ahead, Arch.
Thanks. Guess who I was just talking to? Mr. Porterfield.
Oh, our publisher.
Yeah, that's right, Jake, our publisher. And guess what we were talking about?
You tell me.
You. We're mighty proud of you, Jake. Mr. Porterfield and I are mighty proud of the way your column has taken hold.
Well, thanks, Arch.
Yeah, that's the only reason I was able to talk him into sending you and Helen to Bermuda.
Arch.
Remember last week when you came in here with that brainstorm? When you were all hot and bothered to go to Bermuda? Expenses paid for you and your wife?
Yeah, I remember, Arch.
Yeah, I was beginning to wonder. You'll never know how I had to talk to get Mr. Porterfield's okay.
I appreciate that, Arch, but...
I don't say this in criticism, you understand. But Mr. Porterfield is not a fast man with $1. In fact, he isn't very fast with a nickel. Have you ever heard a buffalo scream in pain when he's squeezed too tight? I'm only joking, you understand. But Jake, I'm not joking now. In order to get his permission to send you and Helen to Bermuda, I had to sell him on the idea. I had to make believe I thought it was a great idea, see?
Uh-huh.
So naturally, I was a little excited when you mentioned you changed your mind about going. I didn't know you were kidding. Not at first. I thought you were serious. You were just kidding, weren't you, Jake?
Arch, the trip's off.
Why, you tin-plated jerk. I took you under my wing when you were so wet behind the ears, your hat kept sliding off. I made a columnist out of you, Jake. I've let you go. I'm godfather to your little baby boy. How will your little baby boy feel when he grows up and learns his daddy stabbed his best friend in the back?
Archie, you're breaking my heart.
Jake, boy, friendship means something to you.
Archie, you're my pal.
You bet I'm your pal through thick and thin. I know friendship means as much to you as it does to me, Jake.
Yeah, I know something that means more to you. Arch, I got a good reason for calling off this trip.
Yeah? Story, Jake? Huh? Why didn't you say so?
Yeah, well, why didn't you give me a chance? I spoke to Mr. Perry Mason this morning.
Yeah? Well, keep talking, Jake.
Well, he's working on a big case.
I didn't know.
Well, it's undercover.
But we're going to break it, huh?
Well, only part of it, and only in a certain way. If we help Mr. Mason now, we get the complete story later on.
You're telling me I can't give Mr. Porterfield a rundown?
All right, that's the way it's got to be.
Okay, Jake. Whatever you say.
All right, no kidding. Mason's own life would be in danger if the whole story gets out now. Mason's and, well, some other people.
Okay, Jake.
Promise?
Yeah, I promise. But what am I going to tell Mr. Porterfield?
Oh, you think it's something?
You got any bright ideas?
Why'd you tell him I'm not going to Bermuda? You're not afraid of him, are you?
Not afraid of the publisher, not afraid of the boss. There, you Slaney. Give me Mr. Porterfield's office.
You going to tell him now?
Yeah. Every minute I put it off will make it that much worse. Oh, Mr. Porterfield, this is Archie. Yes, sir. I just wanted to tell you Jacobson isn't going to Bermuda. He's got another idea. Yes, sir.
That all there was to it?
Yeah.
You look like somebody hit you with an axe.
What do you mean? I know how to handle Mr. Porterfield. Excuse me. Hello? Oh, yes, Mr. Porterfield. Now, yes, sir. You understood me correctly. Jacobson isn't going to Bermuda. Yes, sir. I know I told you I thought it was a good idea. Yes, sir. When I told you it was my idea, yes, sir. Yeah, but Mr. Porterfield, but...
Well, you heard how Perry Mason plans to make Suzanne Barkley come forward. And as you can guess, there'll be action and excitement in the immediate future. So, by all means, join us on Monday, won't you? It's immediately after the close of our last episode. As in the nightclub headquarters of J.T. Doherty's crime syndicate, August Jensen gently closes the door of the manager's office, stands for a moment in silence, and then, as he sees a young woman walking towards him, a strange thing happens. His smooth, pleasant expression twists into an evil smile. His eyes gleam with unholy exultation as she comes closer. And then...
Hello, Tony.
Oh, hello, Gus. Say, listen, I've been trying to see you.
Hello, Tony.
Hey, what's the big idea? Stop it. I don't want you to kiss me. Where do you get off kissing me? I'd like to know what you
I
think
just said hello, Tony.
You're drunk. No, I know you aren't drunk.
No, Tony, I feel good.
Oh, you feel good. And that makes it okay for you to do...
Tony, may I tell you something about a man?
Huh? Okay. You tell me about a man.
When a man feels good, I mean real good, when he starts getting the breaks and then all of a sudden the long, long shot pays off, when that happens, a man feels so good something's got to give. He's got to pick a fight or take a drink or kiss a pretty girl.
Why didn't you take a drink?
You were here.
Oh, thanks.
Would you rather fight me?
Yeah.
Tony.
What makes you feel so good?
A girl?
Who?
Her first name is Suzanne. Isn't that a lovely name?
Gorgeous. What about her?
She ran away and hid because she was afraid.
Of you?
That doesn't matter. She ran away, her family was concerned, and so was I. Police searched for her, and so did I.
And you found her?
I know where I can find her. Do you hear me, Tony? I know where I can find her. I can find her, but the police can't.
So, you feel good?
Yes, Tony, I feel good. Now, you tell me something about a man. Where's your boyfriend?
Gordy? That's a laugh, calling him my boyfriend. Men. I'll tell you something about men, Mr. Jansen.
Go ahead.
None of you are any good. And all of you are liars.
Even me, Tony?
You. You promised to break it up between Gordy and that redhead.
That's right. Where's Gordy now?
I don't know.
Is he with Kate Beekman?
No. But wherever he is, he's thinking about it.
He's not with her.
How many times do I have to tell you? No, 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 no. She's changing her clothes in my dressing room because you told me to be nice to her. And I did what you said because I wanted Gordy back.
Relax, Tony.
Promises. You promised I'd have him back. But all he can think about is Kate Beekman. You haven't done one single thing.
It's all fixed, Tony.
Gus.
The long shot's paid off. The combination's hit. Yeah, I'm talking about you and Gordy, too. Tony, he's all washed up with the redhead.
You mean it, Gus?
I wouldn't lie to you.
Huh.
All right, I'll show you.
Where are we going?
Cashier's cage. I'm going to prove it's like I said. Oh, give me Miss Messina's dressing room. Will Kate answer the phone?
How do I know?
Hello, Kate? August. All ready for your driving lesson? Swell. Yeah, I'll see you in 5 minutes. Oh, and Kate, if you see Gordy, Well, if you happen to see him, don't waste time talking to him. Huh? Yeah, that's okay. Go ahead and be rude to him if he's a nuisance. I'll take care of it. Mm-hmm. Goodbye, Katie. Well, that's the way it is, Tony. Kate's going with me. And that's the way it's going to be. You've got Gordy all to yourself.
If only it's true.
You know it's true. You heard me. I'm going to give her driving lessons.
Driving lessons?
Yeah. I gave Suzanne driving lessons, too.
She ran away.
I'll find her. Yeah, that's really why I feel so good, Tony. I know where to find her.
And the police don't.
Mm-hmm.
You're lucky.
I'm smart, Tony.
Smart. And lucky, too.
Maybe. I did get a break. Now everything's coming my way. Well, I'll see you, Tony. I've got a date. Want me to kiss you goodbye?
Well, because Gus is clever and absolutely ruthless. And because he's possessed of devil's luck, he did get a break. But while the devil seems to look after his own, the other side is far from helpless. Perry Mason is determined to make his own breaks, to get ahead of Gus and find Suzanne Barkley first. And as you know, part of Mason's plan involves newspaper columnist Jake Jacobson. Now, in the Jacobson home.
That you, Jake?
Yeah, it's me, dear.
Careful, honey. Don't step on the...
Oh. How are you, baby?
Perfect.
And Jimmy?
Sleeping like a baby.
How else?
You want to come and look at him?
Oh, wait a minute. You got a minute to talk?
I've just been picking up toys. I'm glad to stop, but only for a minute, darling.
Huh?
I've got so much to do.
Huh? Oh, the trip to Bermuda.
Mm-hmm. I've been thinking, darling. I was selfish when I said I didn't want to go and leave Jimmy for a week.
Helen, wait a second. I've been selfish.
You, Jake? Oh, Jake.
Yes, I have, Helen. At first I couldn't see your objections. I thought Jimmy would be all right with a trained nurse, but I've been thinking...
Yes, darling.
Well, you were right after all. Of course, you understand how I felt at first. I hate to turn down an all-expense-paid trip to Bermuda, but if that's the way you want it, baby, that's the way it's going to be.
You're sweet, Jake.
Ah.
And I do appreciate your offer to give up the trip. Thanks anyhow, darling.
Hmm?
I've changed my mind.
Helen.
Hmm?
Helen, will you leave those toys alone and talk to me for just a minute?
Well, there's nothing to talk about. I've decided I want to go to Bermuda.
Now,
now look what you did. You picked Jimmy's rattle.
Never mind Jimmy's rattle.
Huh?
Now, Helen, listen. I know you're only doing this because you think I want to go to Bermuda.
Oh, no,
But-
Jake. I want to go. Tropical scenery, beautiful beaches, all expenses paid.
Helen, I won't let you do it.
What, Jake?
You wouldn't be happy for a minute. You'd be worried about Jimmy.
Oh, no, darling. No. We'll get a good nurse and just have a wonderful time.
Now, here, give me that.
Hmm? Well, what is it, darling?
Now, Helen,
Huh?
Helen, I didn't tell you quite all of it.
All of what?
Well, something's happened. Here, let me answer that. Hello?
Oh, Jake, Perry Mason.
Oh, yeah, Mr. Mason.
Something the matter, Jake?
Well,
I don't understand you.
because I had my foot in my mouth. Skip it, Mr. Mason. Is the deal on?
I just spoke with Mrs. Barkley, and she will help. The deal is on, Jake. Now, is your editor squared away?
Yeah, he's eager to help.
That's good.
Now, if I can square it with Helen.
What are you talking about?
Well, I didn't think Helen wanted to go to Bermuda, so when I had to call the trip off to work on the Barkley deal with you, I went...
Jake, you tell Helen you called off the trip on her account?
Well, I sort of implied to you it's very funny, but to me...
Yes, it's very funny. Jake, Helen knows the reason your Bermuda trip is off.
She what?
Oh, sure. I explained to her on the phone an hour ago.
Why, that little... Bye, Mr. Mason. Ellen?
Yes, darling. Who is the phone call, dear?
Mr. Mason.
Oh? Did you say hello from me? Jake. Oh, not Jake. I was just kidding. Jake, don't you dare. Jake, you put down that baby rattle.
At this moment, August Jansen is ahead of Perry Mason. But as you heard, Mason is going ahead with his plan to cut a corner. There'll be action and excitement in the immediate future. So by all means, join us tomorrow, won't you? Kate Beekman thinks she's a lucky girl because she has her job in the nightclub. You know how unlucky she is. The nightclub is actually headquarters of the crime syndicate Perry Mason is investigating. Gordy Weber, manager of the club, and August Jansen, Gordy's mysterious associate, are both key members of the syndicate. And though Kate doesn't suspect, she herself is a stake in the struggle for power between Gordy and August. But Kate doesn't suspect. As in Tony Facina's dressing room, Kate runs a comb through her lovely red hair.
Yes? I'm all ready. I thought you were... Oh, yes, Mr. Weber.
Hello, Katie. Is Tony around?
No.
She isn't. Well, I thought she was in here.
She's practicing her routine on the electric organ. Didn't you see her when you came through the lounge?
I came from the kitchen.
Oh. Well, you can hear her practicing.
Hmm? Oh, yeah, that's funny. Now I hear it. Now you call it to my attention. I didn't even notice before. Honest, Kate, I got so much on my mind. It's a big job, running this nightclub.
Yes, sir. But I won't keep you any longer since you want to see Tony.
No, wait a minute, Katie. I can see Tony later. You got a minute to spare? I want to talk to you.
About what?
Wait a minute. Don't you want to sit down?
No, thank you.
Yeah. Kate, I'm going to tell you something. Just between you and me, everything's going pretty good.
What?
Here at the club. It's not perfect yet, you understand, but I finally got things in pretty good shape. As I say, that's strictly between you and me.
Why?
Because I don't want the help to think I'm satisfied.
Well, I'm part of the help.
Yeah, well, you're different, Katie. Anyhow, like I was saying, I got things running pretty smooth, finally. It's been a tough job. It's been a big job. Oh, it hasn't bothered me. I can handle this and more. But the fact remains I've been working hard. So, and remember, this is a secret, Katie. Don't mention this to anyone else.
Then why tell me, Mr. Weber?
Because it concerns you. It's your secret, too. Katie, I'm going to buy a new car. I'm thinking of one of those foreign sports cars.
Oh, like Gus Jensen?
No, not like Gus Jansen's. I'm going to get one that'll make his look like a junkie.
I like his car.
Well, wait till you see the one I'm going to get. And wait till you hear what I'm going to do. I'm going to teach you to drive, Katie.
What?
That's right, baby. I'm going to teach you to drive. But remember, that's a secret between you and me.
Mr. Weber.
I don't want the rest of them to know you're getting special favors, so we'll keep it a secret from everybody, especially from Gus Jansen. You understand, Katie?
Yes, but I...
Oh, good. We'll start this afternoon. You meet me. What'd I say? Something funny? What'd I say? Tell me so I can laugh.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Weber. When you offered to teach me to drive, I...
Well, that strike you funny?
Well, yes, in a way. You see, Well, August is going to teach me to drive.
Gus?
We've got a date now. And when you offered, well, it just struck me funny.
Yeah.
I wasn't laughing at you.
What do you call it?
Well, really, it was kind of funny. You and Gus.
Yeah, me and Gus. He didn't waste any time, did he?
What?
I said he didn't waste any time. You know what that means, Kate.
No. I don't know what you mean.
Well, then I'll tell you, Katie. I'll tell you about Gus Jansen.
I won't listen.
Why?
I just won't.
Because you like the guy?
Well, yes, I think he...
Handsome, tall, dark, and handsome?
Oh, that isn't
Because he's
important.
tall, dark, and handsome, and he talks nice, you think he's a nice guy, don't you? You think he's a nice guy to pal around with? You laugh at me when I offer to teach you to drive. Yeah, you laugh at me. But you're willing to let Gus teach you. Well, now I'm going to tell you something, Katie. I'm going to tell you some things about Gus Jansen.
Mr. Weber...
No, I'm going to tell you. You're going to listen. I'm going to tell you things I know, Katie.
Mr. Weber,
Gus Jansen happens to be... What are you looking at?
She's looking at me, Gordy.
What?
Turn around. Look at me, Gordy. Or do you recognize my voice?
What's the idea? Sneaking in here, Gus.
I heard my name through the door. I'm interested when I hear my name mentioned on the other side of a door. Go on with what you were saying, Gordy. Go on. You were going to tell about Gus Jansen. Let's hear it, Gordy. Cat got your tongue, Gordy. Kate,
Please, Gus.
please, let me explain something. I'm not going to talk about Gordy particularly. I'm not going to tell you Gordy's a mean, jealous little guy, a guy who's smaller on the inside than he is on the outside. No, I'm not going to tell you about Gordy. At least not directly. I'm going to tell you something about the nightclub business. The nightclub is usually owned by more than one person, Katie. At least at first. At first, a number of people had a share in this club. I had only a minor share. At first. I tolerated Gordy's bad manners and his pitiful boasting at first because I had only a minor share. Now things have changed. Now I own controlling interest.
I'm running this club.
Only as long as I say you can. You aren't boss anymore, Gordy. But don't worry. I'm almost certain I'll keep you on as manager. You do quite well on detail work, Gordy.
Gus, I'm telling you, you're going to get...
Yes, Gordy. Oh, Kate, go ask Andre to have my car sent over from the garage, please.
All right.
Gordy, you wait here with me.
Okay, Gus, I let you get away with that because I didn't want to spill the beans in front of Kate. But when I tell JT, what are you laughing at?
You, Gordy. You're all washed up.
You'll see when JT...
You're all
finds...
washed up. Yes, I'll see. So will you. You went up against a combination you couldn't lick. You went up against me, and you went against my luck. I'm a lucky guy.
You're a dirty...
I'm a very lucky guy. There was only one thing stopping me, kid. Suzanne Barkley. As long as Suzanne lived, JT didn't dare shove me up the ladder.
You found Barkley?
I know where to find her. I know, but the police don't. I'm sitting pretty, my little friend.
Yeah, well, as soon as I tell Jake...
We're going to see him.
Huh?
We're going to meet him at the airport. We leave as soon as I give Kate Beekman her driving lesson. Oh, we'll take the sedan and my driver. Sam's driving for me now. Is there anything else? I think not, Gordy, unless you want to congratulate me on the way things are breaking for me. No? All right, Gordy. Run along, will you?
But meanwhile, in the office of Attorney Perry Mason...
I'll get that to you.
No, I'll get it. Hello. No, it's Halverson, Della.
Oh?
Yeah. You get him, Don? And he's qualified? Good. All right, now have him meet me at Mrs. Barkley's. 5 o'clock. Fine. Halverson got a driver with trick driving experience. So we're almost ready, Della.
You wish it were now, don't you?
Well, I don't like to wait.
I wonder where Gus is. Looking for Suzanne?
Maybe. But he hasn't found her.
Maybe he's right here in the city. Maybe we've seen him without knowing it.
Yes, it's possible.
Well, I hope he's here, and I hope he feels real good.
Oh?
I hope he feels utterly confident and safe. So that when you catch him...
Or don't you mean if?
No, because you will, Perry. I know you will. You'll find Sue Barkley before he does. And then you'll get him. I know it.
How, Della?
Because I know you. please.
Well, it's true. Gus Jansen is absolutely confident he'll find Suzanne Barkley first. But what do you think? Is Della's confidence in Perry Mason justified? There'll be exciting developments in the immediate future. So join us tomorrow, won't you? It's late afternoon, sometime after the close of our last episode. As at an airport outside the city, a black limousine stops beside a huge private plane. Now, Gus Jansen picks up the speaking tube, tells his driver...
Wait here, Sam. Mr. Weber will stay with you while I go inside the plane. Watch for me, Gordy. If I wave to you, come inside the plane.
Come into the lounge, August.
Coming right up, J.T.
I'm in here.
Hey.
Oh, you like my plane, August?
It's beautiful, J.T. I thought Sam brought me to the wrong part of the field.
Huh?
My new driver, Sam. Yeah, I thought this was a commercial airliner.
I'm glad you like it, August. You alone?
I left Gordy outside with Sam.
You might have brought him with you.
Let him wait. I took a lot from Gordy when I came back. Now he'll take it.
You know why I had you take it from Gordon?
Yeah. I've learned my lesson, J.T.
I think you have. The big fellow and I are pleased with you.
Oh, thanks. I'm pleased with myself.
Things going well with Miss Beekman?
Well, I gave her the first driving lesson today.
Oh? Is she a good pupil?
Let's put it this way. Let's say I'm a good teacher.
You are feeling good.
Yes, I am. Kate Beekman's eating out of the palm of my hand. Club's running smooth, deliveries are on time, and I'm out of the woods, J.T. Or I will be when I get Suzanne Barkley.
When you do.
There's no question that I'll get her while the police are chasing themselves in circles. I've got the only key.
I'm inclined to agree with you.
How long will you be out of town?
3 weeks and a half.
J.T., by the time you get back, I'll have Sue Barkley taken care of. And Kate Beekman ready for the axe. That I promise you. You going on business?
Well, there's a briefcase for you. You'll find the schedules and authorities you'll need. And there's a sight draft on Corn Mercantile. Draw anything up to $100,000 for operating expenses. If you need more, you can draw on the nightclub funds in an emergency. You can check my itinerary. It's in the briefcase.
Acapulco, then San Juan, Puerto Rico, Kingston, Jamaica. Business trip, J.T.?
Why, you might call it that, my boy. We've capital to invest. I'm in search of foreign outlets.
Oh, foreign outlets, huh?
Yeah. Your good spirits are contagious, my boy. I'm going to tell you something. Things are going well. Better than I dreamed. So, it's time to dream again, August. Time to plan. We mustn't stand still. We mustn't be content with what we have. Oh, my co-pilot is warming the engines.
You can barely hear him in here. What were you saying, J.T.?
August, men in our business are vulnerable. There are dangers.
Yeah, there's always the law.
And what fools call justice. All right. Let them believe in justice. I know something better. Power, August. In just a little while, we'll be so powerful, nothing can touch us. Nothing. We're almost there now. So let them believe in justice. If believing honesty is the best policy, makes them sleep better. If they lie down easier at night in their belief that murder will out and crime never pays. All right. Let them sleep. Let them sleep good and hard. Yeah. They'll sleep and
We'll work. You're right, my boy. Everything's coming our way. Got any questions?
No, unless you want to see Gordy.
No, I don't want to see him.
Then I'll shove along. Have a good trip, J.T.
I'll be comfortable. What?
And there's just one thing lacking, J.T. You need one of those cute hostesses to make you coffee and hold your hand. Well, you can't have everything.
No? Look through the window, August. See who's getting out of the taxi.
You do travel first class.
Yeah. Goodbye, August.
Meanwhile, in a different part of the city, Perry Mason stops at the home of Suzanne Barkley's mother.
There's a man walking toward us, Chief.
Yes. Mr. Murphy?
Yes, sir. I'm Tex Murphy. You, Mr. Mason?
Yes. This is my secretary, Miss Street.
Miss Street?
Hello.
I've heard of you, Mr. Mason.
Well, Lieutenant Halverson gave me a report on you, too.
I understand you got a job for me. A driving job.
Yes, I'll explain inside.
You mean inside here?
Yes, this is the home of Mrs. Barkley.
Well, can't you give me an idea, Mr. Mason?
We'll talk inside. I don't want to be seen outside Mrs. Barkley's house.
Hello, Mr. Mason. Miss Street.
Hello, Mrs. Barkley.
Barkley. Mrs. Barkley, this is Mr. Murphy.
How do, ma'am?
Oh, hello, Mr. Murphy.
Are we alone, Mrs. Barkley?
Yes, Mr. Mason.
Good. So that you will understand Mr. Murphy's presence, he's an expert automobile stunt driver. Lieutenant Halverson checked him through, and we know Mr. Murphy is to be trusted, absolutely. Did Halverson explain any of this to you, Tex?
Oh, no, sir. All I know is the lieutenant called Dad and said he needed me up here to do a job and that I'd better get up here and see what the lieutenant wants. That's all I know.
Uh-huh. Well, Mrs. Barkley has a daughter named Suzanne. Here's her picture.
Hey, it's a right attractive young lady.
Thank you, Tex.
Suzanne ran away. She's in hiding.
How come?
Because she got mixed up with a crook. She's afraid of him. So afraid that she ran away.
Who's he?
All we know about him is that he's called Gus.
Now, we believe that this Gus is associated with a syndicate of important crooks.
Okay.
And if we can identify Gus, we can identify the other members of the syndicate.
You could bust up the whole shebang.
When we locate Gus.
I reckon this has got something to do with Miss Suzanne.
It has. Suzanne Barkley can identify Gus.
So you've got to find her first.
Not just find her. We have to make her come forward. That'll save time. And that is where you come in.
How?
Well, Suzanne is afraid. She thinks that no one can help her. We must make her see the truth when she comes forward. She'll come to her mother's funeral.
This lady's her mother?
That's right. Now, we're going to make it look as if Mrs. Barkley is killed in an auto accident. We've arranged for publicity and so on. We believe Suzanne will come to the funeral.
It's pretty clever, if it works.
We'll make it work.
And you want me to drive the car?
That's right. Now, you have the clothes, Mrs. Barkley?
Yes, here in the box.
Clothes?
Yes, I'll explain.
Now, what's all that?
Oh, 2 orange blouses and 2 purple skirts. They're just alike.
Yes, ma'am, I can see that.
And 2 purple coats with caps to match.
Yeah, I see them, too. Now, those mighty bright colors.
Well, we picked them so people would see the clothes and not the people wearing them.
Well, that little point right there kind of interests me. Who's going to wear them?
You and Mrs. Barkley. There's a duplicate set for each of you.
Slip yours on, Tex. Let's see if they fit.
No, ma'am. I'll drive that car and I'll smash it up, but I ain't going to wear no get-up like that.
Tex.
Those are girls' clothes
Let
now.
me, Mr. Mason.
Now, it ain't going to do no good to argue, ma'am, because I ain't going to do it.
Are you a coward, Mr. Murphy?
Coward, did you say, ma'am? I sure hate to think I was, Miss Barkley, but I sure hate to put on ladies' clothes.
You hate. Do you know what's happening to my daughter? She's being hunted by the man called Gus. He's trying to find my daughter because he wants to kill her.
Huh?
Mr. Murphy, if we don't make Suzanne come forward, Gus will find her. And when he does, he'll kill her. And you don't want to put on woman's clothes.
I'm sorry, Miss Barkley.
Save your apologies, Mr. Murphy.
No, I was only going to say I didn't understand.
You understand now, Tex?
Yes, sir, Mr. Mason. Show me how this harness works, will you, Miss Street?
What do you think will happen now? Well, by all means, hear tomorrow's important and exciting development. It's early evening, sometime after the close of our last episode. As on a little traveled road outside the city, Perry Mason and Della Street ride in the back of an inconspicuous sedan. Here, Police Lieutenant Halverson give directions to the driver.
Turn left at the next unpaved road, Tex.
Yes, sir. How far down the dirt road, Lieutenant?
Just a little way.
Well, I'm going to step it up. I got to have daylight to look over the ground.
Tex, this place we're coming to is one of two places where we can stage the accident. This one is probably too tough, but I'll leave that up to you.
Okay, Mr. Mason.
You start slowing down, Tex.
Right.
See how the road curves here?
Right beside the cliff.
That's right. Okay, stop. All right, cut your engine.
Well, let's take a look.
Oh,
Don't get too near the edge, Della.
don't worry.
It's a long way down the river. Hard to say how deep it is. Might be rocks just a little way under the surface of the water.
I can tell you some things about this particular spot, Tex.
Okay.
If a car goes over the cliff traveling between 10 and 13 miles per hour, it'll clear the outcroppings on the face of the cliff, clear the river banks, and hit in about the middle of the stream.
You know this, Lieutenant?
Mm-hmm. Now, there are no rocks in the middle of the river. The water's at least 20 feet deep. Now, a good trick driver might drive a car over this cliff and leave the car just before it struck the water. He might float to the river bank where he'd be seen and picked up as apparently dead.
Now, apparently, you said.
Uh-huh.
He's supposed to do all that dressed up in ladies' clothes?
What?
Well, Mr. Mason here says I got dressed exactly like Suzanne Barkley's mother, so when we switched cars and I faked the accident, it looked like Miss Barkley who's dead. All the time, it's me who's dead. What am I saying?
You don't sound very worried, Tex.
Oh, don't you be fooled, Miss Street. This here's tricky. Well, I'll give her a try.
Want to try it here?
Yep.
I can show you the other place.
Ain't this the best, Lieutenant?
Well, it has advantages.
Then this is it.
Well, now, Tex, you know the risks better than any of us. This is too dangerous. Don't try it.
Now, look, Mr. Mason, the way I get it, we got to fake a good accident, right?
That's right.
Miss Suzanne's got to think her mother is dead, right?
Mm-hmm.
I reckon it's worth taking a chance.
Good.
Now, you got any questions, Tex?
Well, just the time and place I get Miss Barkley's car.
We'll set up a timetable later.
Listen, I have a question. Where did you get the information about the river, Lieutenant?
You remember Pete Watton? The syndicate member who was killed when his car went over a cliff?
Here?
Close by. In fact, we're only a couple of miles away from the nightclub where your friend works.
Yes, I knew that. Well, what made you think of it?
Well, when Pete Watton was killed, we went around here asking questions. We learned he visited that nightclub earlier in the evening.
Oh? Any connection?
Uh-uh. At least we didn't see any. Only one little thing. We're looking for a guy named Gus. One of the owners of the nightclub is named August Jansen.
Jansen? Well, we met him.
So did I.
I didn't know his first name.
Yeah, August. That could be Gus. I've had him checked.
Are your men checking Jansen now?
Tonight, you mean? Yeah, I think so.
Now, wait a minute. Was Jansen out of town while I was in Smithville?
I couldn't say. The boys don't follow him all the time. We're only spot checking him.
Oh. Well, did he turn up anything?
No. I'm about to call him off. Apparently, he's a nice, clean-living guy. Oh, he's been dating Kate Beekman.
Has he?
Mm-hmm. Treated her nice as pie. Just one of those things, Mason. We're checking all known criminals called Gus.
August Jansen is a criminal?
No. But he owns a piece of a joint not 2 miles from where a syndicate guy was killed. So I thought it worth checking through. You want me to call him off?
Yes, all of them, Don. We don't want to make Gus suspicious at this time.
You got a point. All right, I'll call him off.
Okay, good. Well, you seen enough, Tex?
Well, I'm afraid I have, Mr. Mason.
You afraid?
I shouldn't tell you this, Miss Street, but you know how come I'm alive right now? After stunting automobiles for 7 years?
No, Tex.
Because I'm scareder than anyone else, and I ain't kidding. That river sure looks cold. Yeah, Miss Mason, let's get out of here.
Meanwhile, in the apartment of Gordon Weber, August Jansen's accomplice.
Oh. Why don't the phone ring? I wonder where he's taking her now. Maybe Sam lied to me. Maybe Sam took my dough and lied to me. And maybe he's giving me the runaround just like all the rest of them. Why don't the phone ring? Oh. Yep. Tony.
Hello, Gordy.
Well, Tony. Gee, am I glad to see you. Come on in, Tony. Come on in.
Oh, you sure it's all right?
All right, Tony. Tony, I'm so glad to see you. Look, you stay right there, and I'll mix you a little drink. You and me a little drink, huh?
You gonna have another one?
Me? Sure. I've only had 3 drinks.
What? You just had 3 drinks?
Oh, so it shows, huh?
I can tell you've been drinking.
Yeah, 3 drinks.
That's all?
Yeah, 3 drinks. You know why it shows, Tony? Because I'm a little guy.
Gordy.
I'm a little guy. I'm so little, it shows when I take 3 man-sized drinks. Look at me, Tony. I'm a little guy.
Gordy, I never heard you say...
You never heard me say it. Yeah, and you never said it. You're a real pal, Tony. You're a real pal.
Thanks. What is it, Gordy? What's bothering you? That redhead?
She don't mean a thing.
Come on, Gordy. What is it?
Mr. Jansen.
Oh, Gus.
Yeah, that's the Mr. Jansen, I mean. He's putting one over. I know he's putting one over. I know the guy, Tony.
What are you talking about?
Talking about Mr. August Jansen. He's putting something over. I know he is. Well, I mean, I think he is. Gee, I don't know. Maybe he's all on the up and up. And if he is... Well, anyway, I'm awful glad to see you, Tony. I thought I was going to find out, but he don't call.
Who?
Sam. I used to know Sam, but Gus don't know I used to know him. Sam is Mr. Jansen's driver. I used to know Sam. I gave Sam a lot of money to... Well, Sam promised to phone. Hello. Yeah, Sam. Did you... No. Wait a minute. I say it again. I've been drinking. Yeah, I'm sober now, baby. Yeah, you'll get your dope. Yeah, get up here fast. I knew it, Tony. I knew I'd get him.
Gus Jansen?
Yeah, now I got him. And I'll get the redhead, too.
Gordy.
All right, get out of here.
What?
Beat it, scram.
Well, I haven't even had my drink.
Well, go buy your own drink. Come on, beat it, Tony. I mean it. Get out.
Gordy, you said you were glad to see me.
You're going to get out of here.
Yeah. Sure, darling.
And don't call me darling. Don't call me honey. Don't come up here anymore. You hear me, Tony? I don't want to see you no more. I'm going to be busy with a redhead. Now get out of here.
Gordy Weber just got important information from Sam, August Jansen's chauffeur. What Gordy learned will have a profound effect, not only on Gus Jansen, but on Perry Mason and Mason's plans as well. You'll join us for tomorrow's important development, won't you?